Morning, Shed Talk. Another slurp of coffee, just back from the pool. It has been an amazing week. The swimming pools are open, although I am a fortunate person. I have been swimming because I have a good friend where has helped me out with my swimming over the lockdown. So I'm allowed to do that because I was part of his little bubble. So what have we been up to? Well, definitely for next week, clean board, new start, new beginnings. You know, every day can be a new day. Every day can be a new start. If you do the same thing every day in the same way, you get the same thing. That's okay if it's got value to it and it serves you well. I've worked with quite a few people this week around PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, and teaching them how to come out of a high beta into a more of an alpha state, into a more manageable, stress-free, relaxed, meditative way of being, controlling that internal dialogue. Because what happens with your brain is, every good and every bad experience, your mind takes a photo of it. And it gets locked in there in your frontal lobes as a memory. And connected to that experience is emotions and feelings. And with persistence of thinking that, it just gets locked into your brain and it goes subconscious. And then you just start to run them programs and you're not consciously aware that you're doing it because you're not aware of the triggers, what fire it off. And then we start to relive the experience. Let's just call it, just for words, a negative experience becomes 10 times stronger than a positive experience. Holy fuck, no wonder you can't get out of it. No wonder you're in a high beta, in a stressful place, because it becomes overwhelming, over-consuming to be able to do that. So with being an NLP practitioner and working with submodalities is just the way that we think and the way that we process things. Some people see things in colour, some people see things in black and white, some people see it as round, flat. So if you get with people and work with the submodalities and get them to be aware of their submodalities and how they process, how they're thinking about the situation, how they're seeing it, if you get some distortion in there, change the imagery, you're going to have a different outcome. Because the imagery is the thoughts, and the thoughts produce feelings, and feelings produce behaviours. If you change the thought by changing the imagery, you get a different feeling, you get a different outcome. So this is where teaching people to be more consciously aware or consciously present. Because once you're more consciously aware and consciously present, you're not living in yesterday, you're not living in tomorrow, you're more in the now, and you can't be in two places at the same time. So that's why we have a clean board every day. Yesterday's gone, tomorrow's to come. We're just here now. And that's with any experience. As a therapist, I believe that we have all the resources within ourselves to be able to maintain a happier well-being within ourselves. We just need to learn to be able to get to that part of ourselves, to be able to manage it. And if we're managing state, a state is an experience of how you are at that time, a state of being. And if we're stressed and we're scoring it 1 to 10, 10 is overwhelming, over-consuming. If we can learn to get it to a 3 or a 4, that's more manageable than a 10. You've got more choice there. 1, 2s, 3s and 4s have got more choice. 10, you haven't. You're in fight or flight. Fight or flight. And when you're in fight or flight, your behaviour will affect your environment, definitely affect yourself. Massive amounts of cortisol, the stress hormone going through your body. But learning to get back to how you were prior to your experiences. That's the way forward. Developing the coping mechanism, the coping strategies, working with them, refining them day in, day out. Write down how you want to be. I worked with Dean Kirkham 12 months, 18 months ago around creating target selves with people. Really lock onto a target self. What is your target self? How do you want to be daily? Write it down. What is it like when you're like that? What are you doing differently? What are people noticing differently about you? Don't always listen to what people say. Look at what they're doing. Actions speak louder than words. So, to be different, you have to have the action, you have to have a different movement, you have to have a different behaviour. Think about how you want to do, then act upon how you want to do it. The most difficult thing about it is keeping the ball rolling, keeping the momentum with it. But you've got momentum with the overpowering, over-consuming 10, because we're doing that day in, day out. And that's getting stronger within the mind. And the neurons in the brain are getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And then the chain becomes even more difficult to break. With persistence, you can't release the resistance. And I've spoke about this before. If you had a line of dominoes and we line them up and I knock that domino down, you go, brrr, that's like thoughts. Thoughts produce thoughts. Thoughts produce thoughts. Thoughts produce thoughts. Thoughts produce feelings. And people get stuck in the thought-feeling loop. Thought, feeling, shit thought, shit feeling, shit thought, shit feeling. We're getting there. But if we start putting interrupters in with the dominoes, they can't knock into each other. You can't get that experience anymore. And you can use that in any aspect of your life. If I'm in a stressful place, and I get into a stressful place, and if I'm in a negative mindset, I can get into a negative mindset, but I don't stay in it for long periods of time. I'll sit down, I'll control the body-mind down, which is just my subconscious mind. I'll become centered. It's quite easy, just be present where I am. Where's my breathing? It's in my chest. I want it in my belly. Then I start to breathe it from my belly. I become open focused. I start to lock onto the space around me. I'm looking for the gap within my thoughts. And if I'm looking for the gap within my thoughts, I start to slow down. I can't be at fast pace and a slow pace at the same time. I can't be stressed and relaxed at the same time. I can't be anxious and not anxious at the same time. What I focus on, I'm going to get. I become what I think about. Day in, day out, I think about how I want to be. And if I don't like the way I'm feeling, I will hold my thoughts till I've changed. I'll hold my thoughts till I've changed. Have a think about it, just John's perception of the world. How John deals with his world. We're all the same but different. We're all unique to ourselves. Find that you. Happy Sunday.